back to my channel. Today I'm going to go over with you step by step how I painted my fixtures in the bathroom of our camper. Our camper was built in 1999, and so my tub and sink and toilet were really yellowed over time, and I chose to paint them to white to brighten them up, lighten it up, and make everything look all fresh and clean. So I want to tell you first that I had to prep the surfaces, and this is very important in order for your paint to adhere well. And what I used was crud cutter, and I sprayed this on the walls, and then I took like a bag of rags. You can get this probably at any local hardware store, both of these products, and I washed all of the tub, the surround, the sink, the counter, and the toilet down really well with these products. Next, I took some 600 grit sandpaper and I sanded all my finishes down, and this helps the paint to adhere to the surface just a little bit better. And I just broke off pieces and used my hand and just hand sanded it. I didn't use a block sander or anything like that, and it worked really well. This was the next step, and this is a really important step, and you don't want to skip this. You want to use tack cloth to go over all of your surfaces just before you paint. So if you've prepped your surface the day before and you're painting the next day, go over this just before you paint, and it will pick up any dust particles or fuzzies that might be floating in the air. So after I had my surfaces all prepped and clean and ready to go, this is the paint that I chose to use in the bathroom. And this worked really well, and it took 2 coats, and it covered everything very, very well with 2 coats. Now, the one thing I want to mention to you right off the bat, and this is important, is that you really want to wear a respirator with this paint. It's an epoxy paint, and it's really strong, and this is a definite must. Use the respirator. You want to make sure that your vents are all open in your camper. You want to make sure that all of your windows are open in your camper so that you get a really nice airflow while you're painting. So I used, I have a little roller tray here and a little roller, and I used these roller heads here. They're not foam. They do have a light nap to them. And what I did was, with these, is I just took some painter's tape and I wrapped it around the heads and I pulled it off, and it removed any loose little pieces of fuzzy that might be on them. Next, I want to go over paint brushes with you, what to use and what not to use. So you'll need to have a paintbrush to get into the small areas that your roller head won't reach. Foam brushes, no go, don't use these, because this epoxy paint will break this down within a matter of a minute. It just disintegrates these brushes, so this is not what you want to use. You also don't want to use a cheap nylon plastic brush either, because what happens with these is the bristles, they fall out and then they stick to your paint, and then you're trying really hard to get it out of your paint and not mess up your finish. So that's not a good choice either. This is what I used. You can get a Purdy brush or something similar to it, something that's a natural bristle brush. This worked great. None of the bristles fell out. It didn't disintegrate. As you can see, it's hardened up now because this is the one I used when I painted all around the fixtures, but this definitely is the way to go. Good morning, everyone. So today is painting the bathroom day, the tub and the surround and the sink. If you hear some noise in the background, it's our generator running. We had a storm last night and we lost power, and it has not been restored yet, but that is not going to stop us from getting this painting done. I am actually really, really excited to do this project. I have never worked with an epoxy paint before, and I'm really interested to see how this is going to work out. I think it's really going to look lovely and lighten and brighten things up. here's the first coat. Here we have the sink and the countertop. And then we have the tub surround. It's a tight space, so it's a little bit hard to get all of it, but the first coat took really well. And I'm very excited to see how the second coat is going to turn out. Okay, everybody, so this is how the second coat looks in my camper bathroom. So here is the toilet. I didn't worry about taping around the floor because we are going to be replacing this flooring, so that really didn't matter to me. And coming up here, I can show you how the sink and the countertop turned out. Very light, very bright, really, really happy with the results here. And I will give you a shot of how the surround turned out in the camper. I know it's hard to get a good shot because it's a really tiny space, but I'm doing the best I can to show you how the second coat turned out. And like I said, I'm real happy with it, real pleased. It really lightened it up, brightened it up. It looks clean and fresh and white, and really, really happy with the results of this paint. I want to tell you, when I put my first coat on, it was a humid day, and I put my first coat of paint on. The directions say to wait at least an hour to do your second coat. I waited a couple hours. And I do want to mention that this paint does expire. You need to use it within 6 hours because then it starts to harden up. So I figured I'll wait. I think I waited an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I came out to do my second coat. The problem is that my first coat hadn't dried because of the humidity. So I was not able to do the second coat the same day. So I went out the next day, I bought a second kit, and I rolled on the second coat. And it took beautifully. One thing I want to mention to you is the first day that I painted, I didn't run a fan. I just had all my windows and vents open, but the smell was really strong. The second day I painted, I chose to bring like a small fan out here and run it. And the fan really, really helped to distribute the air and to get a lot of the fumes out of the camper. The downside to that is that it did blow some dust particles around. So you have to decide, if you want a completely smooth finish, then I would not recommend running the fan. If it doesn't matter to you that you might have a few little tiny particles here and there in your paint, you truly can't see them in mine. I mean, if you run your hand over it, you can maybe feel a few little things, but you can't really see it with the eye. But that's something that you have to choose. For me, it was better to run the fan so that I didn't have such a buildup of fumes in the camper. So I hope that all of these tips that I shared with you today help if you decide that you want to paint your fixtures in your camper. And then I will be going on to part 2 of my bathroom restoration with my next video, which I will show you how I use peel and stick wallpaper to accent a wall in the bathroom, and painting the walls and the cabinet below the sink. I bought the tub and tile kit at my local Ace Hardware, and I think that you could probably pick it up at any of the big box home improvement stores as well, but the whole kit was only $29. And absolutely, you could do at least 2 coats on your tub and sink and counter and toilet, everything I did with 1 can, and probably still have some left over. So just remember my tip. make sure if you're painting outside in your camper that you do it on a day with low humidity, and then you'll be able to get your 2 coats in one day and only need 1 kit. So I just wanted to mention that one more time. So also, I didn't film painting the bottom of the bathtub or the sink or the countertop because I would have had to mount my phone to the ceiling in the bathroom in order to get that footage, and I just really couldn't figure out how to make that work. So that's why you didn't actually see any footage of me painting all of that. So, and I just want to say that if you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. And please subscribe to our channel so you'll be notified when our next video becomes available. And on behalf of Rick and myself, thank you so very much for watching. We really do appreciate it, and have a great day.